This is the Hot Wheels Large Charge Casting. This casting was designed by Larry Wood and was produced from 1975 to 1979. Those were really good years. This specific casting that you see here with its chrome color and Redline wheels was produced in 1976 as part of the Super Chrome series. Now, it's not in horrible shape. I drilled it out. This thing has the really tiny posts that you have to use the 172 screws on and stuff. But once I get it apart, you'll see here there's not a lot to it. There's the body itself, metal base, and the glass. This particular glass that you see there has a small crack in it. And fortunately, I have another one of these castings and the glass was a little bit better. Didn't have a crack. It was a little rough, but didn't have a crack. So I ended up using that one instead. I stripped the body down. And there you see it after it came out of the stripper. And so I gave it a quick polish with flits just to get a feel for how it was going to look. And I was liking the direction it went. So I decided I wasn't going to paint it. I was just going to polish it up as best I could. So here I drill it out with the 172 bit and those super tiny little screws that, I don't know, either they're getting smaller or my vision's getting worse. So at this point I start wet sanding it with 1500 and 3000 foam backed sandpaper. It's just sanding foam things. And wet sanded the hell out of it. There were some parts, some little tiny dents I couldn't really sand out completely. I did end up polishing up the base. I did not sand it down the same way. There you see the interior is just molded into the base. On the body itself, I gave it a coat of this Minwax Clear Gloss Poly. After I had it completely polished and cleaned up, I put the poly down first because I got this set of replacement decals from Second Chance Redlines. And I didn't want to put them just on the body. I thought it would be best to put a clear coat on it first, then put the decals, and then go over it again with that Minwax Clear. So that's what I ended up doing. I think this worked well. I'm not certain if putting the decals directly on the metal body would have been better, but this definitely worked the way I hoped it would. And it was just like putting decals on any other paint, really. And while I call this a Rattlecan Redline restoration, the Rattlecan is really just the clear coat. I didn't paint anything else on this. And again, the base I did polish up, but as you could tell originally, it's not something to be shined to a high polish. It's something that you can clean up and get looking halfway decent, but it's never going to be bright and shiny like this. So I was happy with how the decals turned out. It's a nice set of decals, and to be honest, they were very easy to work with, very easy to apply. I really like those decals from Second Chance. So at this point, I took the Dremel, cut the little metal that holds those axles originally in place, and then I got out some 3D bearings that I've printed. You've seen me use these before, and the STL file is available online at Thingiverse. I have it there if you need it. And these bearings work out pretty well. I just use straight pins, figure out exactly where to cut the straight pin, as you can see here. And yeah, you just kind of bumble and fumble through it. And it can be a pain, but it works. Cut off the sharp point. And then just use the fence pliers to crimp the end. And it doesn't take much of a crimp because those bearings fit relatively snugly on the straight pin. It works out pretty darn well, if I say so myself. So once I had those in place, I hit it with a little super glue. First I had to put the wheels on. Those wheels are from Brightvision. Bought those from them. I love these. Are the deep dish wheels. I do prefer those. And the bearings just pop right in and you're ready to rock and roll. So there you see, yeah, bumbling and fumbling again. I'm getting old. What can I say? So, yeah, at this point, I thought, well, let me clean up the glass. And this is the replacement glass. One from another casting that I had that I mentioned. So it was still a little rough. It just didn't have a crack like the other one. Sanded that up with the 3000 grit, then polished it with flitz. Cleaned that up after hitting it with the flitz, and it was time for gauzy, gauzy, gauzy. Everybody who's playing the game, take a shot. Actually, 3 shots, I guess. So dunk it, swish it around, wick off the excess, and then put it in that little container, and I put the cover on it so it doesn't get any little lint on it or anything, and set that aside to dry. And at this point, I put the axles in. And there's something I'll mention to you now, I guess. I didn't notice it until this video was completely done. But you're going to see a slight lean in the finished product here towards the driver's side of the car. I had it slightly off. And to be honest with you, I didn't see it at all when I was holding the casting, working on it, finishing this up. And here you see me putting it together. That's after the clear coats. And man, I'm really happy with the finished look on this. But it does lean a little towards the driver's side, which after putting this video together, I edited all the chunks down, and then I was looking at it, and it's like, this thing's leaning towards the driver's side. So I have since fixed that. So now there's no driver's side lean, and the gaps on the wheels on both sides are the same. But there was no way at this point I was going to re-edit and cut in some additional video. You see how the front half of that bottom underside polished up really well, which was nice. I was really happy with that. So I wanted to get that disclaimer out there ahead of time. So it does roll so well. Again, here's where we started out. And it's a good looking casting. I'm going to do the other one as well at some point. That will be painted a color. Like some of the large charges, not all of them were chrome. A lot of them did come painted colors. So, and this was re-released under another name later, as I recall. But I will paint it some color, and I'll probably try vacuum forming a clear glass for it. But here you see the finished product. And if you look closely, you'll see that lean that I mentioned. The gaps are larger on the right-hand side than they are on the left. I have since fixed it. And I do apologize for not catching that sooner, but it looks good now. You can see the polishing worked out pretty well. It didn't need to be painted a simulated chrome or anything like that. Polishing it really worked out where I think it looks just as good as the original large charge. And the decals, that I couldn't be more happy with those decals from Second Chance. So I hope you like this as much as I do. There's some glamour shots coming up. And everybody, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And everybody, stay safe and healthy out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.